There's something weirdly depressing about watching your favorite character come back to life, and realizing they feel like a cardboard cutout of who they used to be. You sit there on the edge of your seat, popcorn in hand, ready to cheer, ready to cry, ready for that moment. And then she walks on screen like she just woke up from a nap inside a sensory deprivation tank. This isn't just different, it's off, and not in the good way that makes you lean in, but the bad way that makes you double-check if your screen is buffering. I remember when Ahsoka was lightning in a bottle. Every time she showed up, she owned the room. Lightsabers spinning, eyes locked in, voice full of fire. And now she just stares into the distance, like she's trying to win a brooding contest with Batman. The fight scenes have all the energy of a mandatory HR training video. The dialogue sounds like she's reading from the inside of a fortune cookie. It's like someone hit the Jedi version of low power mode and never turned it off. And look, I'm not saying she needed to crack jokes or do backflips in every scene, but maybe a little warmth wouldn't kill the vibe. She's supposed to be the heart of this story, the center of this universe. Instead, we get slow motion, walks through fog, while dramatic music begs us to care. Like I want to feel something here. I really do. But the emotional thermostat is stuck on freezer aisle, and no one's even trying to fix it. This isn't about nitpicking canon or yelling at clouds either. This is about legacy. This is about a character who earned her place as a fan favorite by growing, evolving, pushing back when it mattered. And now she's reduced to a few cryptic lines and a furrowed brow. It feels like the writers forgot what made her resonate in the first place. Or worse, they remembered and chose to ignore it. And you can see flashes of her in there still. Like when she hesitates before a fight, or when she locks eyes with someone who remembers her past. It's there, buried under layers of dramatic restraint and misplaced elegance. And the second you think she's about to break free, she vanishes back into the fog, like a force ghost that doesn't want to be perceived. It's not just disappointing, it's personal. In this video, we're pulling apart the Ahsoka series and asking the hard questions nobody wants to admit out loud. What happened to her energy? Where did the fire go? And why does one of the most compelling characters in Star Wars history now feel like she's trapped inside her own show? Remember when Ahsoka Tano could take on Darth Maul in a collapsing city without breaking a sweat? Or when she faced off against Vader on Malachor with nothing but grit and lightsabers? Back then, she moved like a whirlwind, full of fire and purpose, a character who could outfight and outthink anyone in the room. But in her own live-action series, something felt muted, slower, quieter. It's like the volume on her personality got turned down, while the camera kept rolling. We were all waiting for her return, like kids counting down to Life Day. But when she finally showed up, it wasn't quite the Ahsoka we remembered. She wasn't bad, she wasn't wrong, she was just different. The snark was gone, the warmth was dialed down, and the fierce independence that made her so magnetic felt like it had been tucked into a drawer somewhere off-screen. It makes you wonder, was this intentional restraint, or a fundamental misunderstanding of who she really is? In Clone Wars, she talked back to Jedi Masters and jumped headfirst into danger. In Rebels, she was the wise mentor who still knew how to throw down when it mattered. But in her show, she spends half the time standing still and speaking like she's narrating a prophecy from a cave on Octu. What changed between then and now? Why did the vibrant rebel become a space wizard, doing dramatic stares in silence? Even her fight scenes feel oddly toned down. Compare the Maul duel to her live-action encounters. The choreography lost its edge, the speed dropped, and the sense of urgency disappeared. Ahsoka was once an acrobat of chaos, using agility and intuition to win impossible fights. Now it looks like she's rehearsing Tai Chi under a blue filter while waiting for a cue. So we have to ask, where did the energy go? What happened to the rebel who defied orders and saved lives with nothing but instinct and attitude? This new version isn't just older, it feels like she's been edited, and not in a good way. Okay, let's just say if this isn't the Ahsoka we grew up rooting for. This is some flattened, dulled-down, grayscale copy-pasted into prestige TV pacing, like someone forgot to give her a personality upload. And that's what really gets under my skin. It's not that she's changed. It's that she's been neutered, narratively, emotionally, and physically. She used to talk with passion, fight with style, and carry the weight of her trauma, like someone who had earned her scars. Now she floats through scenes like she's perpetually tired of being in the galaxy. The wit's gone, the fire's gone, the urgency is gone. She talks like she's reading the Force Wikipedia while waiting for her next mission briefing. And the worst part is, they did this in her own show. There's something genuinely heartbreaking about seeing a character, who once carried such emotional weight, become this emotionally hollow version of herself. Ahsoka's pain, her trauma, her victories, they used to live right beneath the surface of every word, every choice, every move. Now they're buried so deep, they barely register. Back in the Clone Wars, we saw her struggle with betrayal, loss, and war. She fought through grief when she lost comrades, faced judgment when she walked away from the Jedi, and stared death in the face more times than anyone should. Every moment mattered, and her resilience felt earned. But now she feels like she's coasting through the galaxy, like none of that ever happened. When she sees Anakin again in the world between worlds, it should be a moment of raw catharsis. Instead, it feels more like a concept art reel than an emotional climax. Where's the shaking voice, the tear-filled eyes, the sense of closure or confusion or anything? This is her former master, the man she loved, the one who fell standing right in front of her, and she reacts like it's just another Tuesday. Even her relationships feel distant. Sabine is supposed to be her Padawan, but there's barely any warmth or tension between them. Hera's presence feels obligatory rather than meaningful. There was a time when seeing Ahsoka on screen felt like watching history unfold in real time. She wasn't just part of Star Wars, she expanded it. Introduced as a snarky sidekick, she grew into a Jedi who outshone most of the Council with nothing but heart, grit, and a pair of white sabers that felt like symbols of clarity in a galaxy drowning in confusion. Her duel with Maul on Mandalore was a masterclass in storytelling through combat. Every move had emotion behind it. Every beat meant something. And it wasn't just flashy choreography, it was character work with a blade. She knew when to fight and when to walk away. That was her power. The restraint, the understanding, the balance. That's what made her legendary. She went toe-to-toe with Vader. Not out of arrogance, but out of need. Because someone had to try. Someone had to stand in front of that monster and say, "I remember who you were." And that moment hit harder than any lightsaber clash. It wasn't about winning it was about refusing to give up on what mattered. And not a single Jedi in the galaxy was brave enough to do that but her. Even her voice carried weight. Every time she spoke in Rebels, people listened. Her wisdom didn't come from the temple, it came from pain, from growth, from choosing to walk her own path. She was a symbol of everything the Jedi should have been: independent, empathetic, and focused on people, not politics. That's the version fans worshipped, not just a fighter, but a force in every sense of the word. Despite everything, I still believe Ahsoka's not gone. Not really. The version we saw in the show may have been dulled, sure, but the soul of the character is still there. She's still in the eyes, in the silence that wants to say more. In the moments where the old fire flickers just beneath the surface. All it takes is the right spark to bring her back to life again. We've seen what happens when characters are mishandled, and we've also seen them come back swinging. Boba Fett was a joke until he wasn't. Luke got sidelined and then returned in full force glory. So maybe Ahsoka's quiet demeanor in Season 1 was just the calm before the storm. Maybe they're setting her up for something bigger, something more in line with the legend we know. There's still time to lean back into her heart, her humor, her pain, her complexity. We don't need her to be the same teenage warrior she once was, but we do need her to feel like a human being again, a person with opinions, regrets, and passion. Because Star Wars thrives when its characters feel real, and no one embodied that more than her. Give her real stakes, real connections, real decisions that reflect the journey she's been on. In the end, this isn't just about Ahsoka. It's about what happens when a character's soul gets traded for silence, when complexity is replaced by stoicism and emotional depth gets left behind in favor of vague wisdom and filtered lighting. It's about what's lost when legacy gets rewritten to fit a tone that doesn't match the journey. Ahsoka was never supposed to be generic. She wasn't designed to be just another calm, wise warrior drifting through the galaxy like a Jedi ghost. She was fire. She was rebellion. She was compassion in a world that kept asking her to be cold. And when you take that away, you're not evolving the character. You're erasing the reason she mattered in the first place. There's a cost to getting it wrong. Fans don't just miss a good story. They feel like they lost a piece of something personal. Ahsoka meant something to people, because she was proof that Star Wars could grow, could change, could find heroes outside the Skywalker bloodline. But now it feels like they'd trimmed all the edges that made her iconic, and left behind something safe, static, and distant. That's the real tragedy. Not that she changed, but that the spirit of her character didn't survive the transition. Somewhere between the animation frames and the live-action scripts, the fire faded, the voice dimmed, the connection broke, and we were left with someone who looked like Ahsoka, but rarely felt like her. She deserved better, and so did we. Because when a character like Ahsoka is watered down, it's not just a missed opportunity, it's a message that even the strongest legacies can be silenced. If we stop remembering what made them powerful in the first place. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video, blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. And Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games, like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.